Well, here we are, ready for another Film Threat watch party. Sorry, folks, we're about a minute late. I am Chris Gore from Film Threat, and Fridays is when we like to feature one of the coolest indie films that I've seen recently, Animation Outlaws, which is a documentary directed by Kat Alioshin, who has presented this incredible story of Spike and Mike. Spike and Mike's Sick and Twisted Festival, Spike and Mike's Festival of Animation, has had such a profound effect on cartoonists and animators from all over. And we're going to have some fun watching Animation Outlaws together and watching it with some of the key people involved in the film. Before I introduce them, I want to bring on Alan Ng.
Hey, everybody.
Alan Ng from Film Threat. Alan Ng will be monitoring the chat and we'll be answering your questions. So please post your questions in the comments. We'll pop them up on the screen. I do want to remind you can get Animation Outlaws now on Amazon, Google Play, Vimeo, iTunes, Dish Direct. It's available on everything. And I even typed it in that it's available on everything. So let's get ready to have this watch party right now. All right, we're back. But first, let me introduce Kat Alioshin is the director of Animation Outlaws, and she is here. She, oh my God, that is the best. I have a cocktail. I have a little cocktail myself, but that is, first of all, you got to tell us about that mug.
This is a current stop motion animated feature that's being worked on right now in Los Angeles by the company Screen Novelties called Witch Doctor.
Okay, wow. I have not heard of Witch Doctor, but I'm a huge fan of stop motion animation.
The important thing is what's in it.
Yes. What is in it?
Magic. Mai Tai.
Ooh, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I want to remind people to go out and get Animation Outlaws. We're going to start playing it in about 10 minutes or so. We're all going to press play together, watch the film, and comment along. I want to introduce some of the people that were a part of Animation Outlaws. Kat, you know these people very well. I'm meeting them for the first time, but I'm well aware of the storied careers of the people that are about to join us. Let's bring them onto the stream. Marilyn Zornato, David Silverman, Marv Newland. They also have drinks.
It's Friday. It's cocktail time.
Yes, our cups aren't quite as unique as sadly, but you know.
Well, I mean, you know, when you live in lockdown land, every night is cocktail time. I mean, it seems like these days with no bars open, no, restaurants are limited. So we got to do what we do. Kat, tell us about the film and tell us about everyone's involvement here.
Well, I had to make this documentary because I actually worked for the circus, the Spike and Mike circus, back in the 87. I started with them, and I got to meet all these wonderful people that are with us now too. Back then, I was exposed to so much fabulous short animated films. This was back in the classic days. So, and I just, it really actually made me want to work in animation. And I have been able to do that these last 25 years or so, working in animation. But I just want to get the story out there about kind of where they came from, Riverside, California, just basically doing these smaller venues, maybe a college auditorium, wherever, not your classic distribution for film. So they really pulled together a great crew.
And we're getting some comments coming in here. Brian Kilfoyle says, I still have a Spike and Mike barf bag.
Yeah.
There's a story. You should tell the story of with the barf bags.
Oh, well, that was just part of the, when the images could be so disgusting and awful that was part of the ideas that you need one of these.
Well, and he also says cheers. Oh, Linda Brown tells us Spike will be on in a minute.
Cool.
So that's great. We're excited that Spike will be joining us.
I have this Spike for now.
Oh,
nice. Oh, that's awesome.
Well, okay. Is that the actual model from the film?
Yeah. So when you see the stop motion animation by Tim Hiddle, he's moving this guy one frame at a time.
Oh, that's great.
Put him over here.
I want to talk to the illustrious guests that you brought along, but I do have to thank Marv Newland is with us. And Marv, actually, a film that I saw in theaters when I was a kid in Detroit, Michigan. I saw Bambi Meets Godzilla. Little did I know I would meet him via a computer that I would own, because I didn't even know what a computer was when I was at that time. But that's Bambi Meets Godzilla is such a cool. I've never seen that. Oh, he's leaving now. He's leaving.
I'm only going to he's going to grab something from Bambi Meets Godzilla. Let's see.
Well, Bambi Meets Godzilla is, if you have not seen this short film, I mean, it's notorious, and it's been, what is this? Is that the actual film?
What?
Oh my God.
It's on film, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God.
Film to you. Film, my favorite word.
Now, how does that fit in the VHS machine?
Well, not only did I see it in the theater, I remember printed ads. There were printed ads in the newspaper that said plus or with Bambi Meets Godzilla. It played as a short film in front of other movies in the 70s.
Well, that one actually opened my first Spike and Mike Sick and Twisted show. The first one I went to.
Well,
that's awesome.
It was a question on the New York Times crossword puzzle yesterday. Andy Kugel sent it to me.
That's awesome.
Well, I would say your film, Bambi Meets Godzilla, is also like the granddaddy of Sick and Twisted animation shorts, before any of this was around. I mean, you're inspired, like literally, you started it, I think. It's all you.
Yeah, if it happened today, it would be viral for a week and gone. Those days, people walked into a cinema and up on the big screen came a 16 millimeter black and white movie. So they were all pretty shaken, right? That helped.
But every time I've seen that movie in the theater, it gets either a standing ovation or gasps, and like the audience cheers in unanimous applause. It's always such a crowd pleaser. I love that film. Kat,
can I say something about in the documentary? I didn't have any crowd response to that, so I had to reenact that. So I brought in 200 of my family and friends, and we filmed everyone saying Marv, because that's what you see for however many seconds it is.
We also have with us David Silverman is here,
Yes.
who's in the documentary. David, thank you for joining us. What can you say about Spike and Mike and what we're about to see in the movie?
Well, of course, Spike and Mike were immensely inspirational to me when I was studying animation and before, especially I think when I got to California for the first time in 1977, and I saw, what are these things? Oh, this is hilarious. And then, like completely eye-opening, inspirational. And yeah, it just kind of helped show me, I already had a sense of I saw other animated shorts earlier, and it really just helped inspire me further. Like I was already familiar with Paul Dreesen and Bruno Bizzetto and animation coming over from Europe, especially from the Zagreb School and so forth. But this completely expanded it. It was like also great. Oh, these are being made here in America. Oh, fantastic. Maybe there is a future in this business.
And we're getting a lot of questions coming in from people, so I'll pop them up on the screen if you want to respond to that. Marilyn, thank you for joining us on a Friday. It's happy hour for me, actually. I'm in Pasadena, California. I know everybody's in. Oh, we'll say yes, exactly. Oh, wow, you got quite the martini there. Tell us about your contribution to the film.
I was interviewed in the film. I became aware. I was working for Will Vinton Studios in Portland. It's a stop motion studio, and Spike would call to check on the film prints to be if they sent out. He'd say, "Have you sent in the little prints? Send the print. I need the print. I need it tomorrow." And then like 2 hours later, he'd call again. "Have you sent that print?" Then at the end of the day, "Have you sent the print?" So I thought he was crazy, really. And of course, it turned out that he is. So, and then I met Mike over the phone too. And then I went down with Joan Gratz, who was she had a film called Creation that she had made all with clay painting, and we went down to La Jolla for the show. And I got invited to come down too with Joan, both of us from the studio. And we were just concerned. We thought we'd be sleeping in someone's house on the floor. And so we wondered if we should bring our sleeping bag. And then we got into town, and it turned out we were staying at the nicest hotel in town, like a historic hotel. And then Mike gave us his credit card and said, "Hey, take yourselves out to dinner."
That's very generous. A lot of people are commenting in the comments that they, well, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. They were saying they smoked a bowl when they were at the Spike and Mike Twisted. I do remember that, having seen it whenever it would come. First of all, it was an event. It wasn't just a screening of Schwartz. It was an event, not just an event. It was an event that had a party atmosphere. I mean, this was like kind of a taste of. Sometimes I'll go away and take a break every once in a while, but it was definitely like it was just a big party scene. You could hear bottles rolling. People had snuck in beers. I almost think that it was kind of encouraged to have that, or it was never discouraged. That's what I'll say. Kat, you were there in the beginnings and helped promote. Like, what stories can you tell us about that?
Well, I know that they really did. They had the classical part first, and then they had these midnight shows, and that's when it sort of started kicking into gear about the party atmosphere. And then the midnight show started creeping into the regular program, and that became Sick and Twisted. But yeah, it was the best crowd you could, with people chanting and the balloons falling from the sky and being popped around, and then there was the wonderful Scotty, the shredding wonder dog, who would get up on stage, and he'd go crazy for the balloons, and then he had anything blow up dolls even, he would try to attack and pop, and he got a standing ovation at the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco.
Well, I want to give a final reminder to everyone that you can get Animation Outlaws. Just look on Amazon, Vimeo. I buy a lot of things on Vudu, so that's where I'm watching it. It's Vimeo. If you've got a video on demand on your cable system, you can find Animation Outlaws. It came out, I believe, on Tuesday, if I'm correct. So
Yep.
hopefully you bought it in advance, or if you're like me, you've got it queued up right on your iPad. I got it on my iPad right here, ready to go. So we should start in a few minutes. We'll give everyone who's watching us time to set that up, right? So get ready, and we'll all kind of press play at the same time. But I realized before this started that Kat, you had very generously sent me a T-shirt. And I think that I need to change. I can't watch the movie without putting the shirt on.
We'll put it on. There you go.
I'm going to. I'm going to do it right now. You guys keep talking while
Marilyn.
I'm changing. Alan, I'll be right back.
Yeah, Marilyn has the before I knew.
Yeah,
It's my favorite one.
Oh, it's a good one, and that's also
That's
by
wonderful.
Everett Peck. So Everett Peck did
Yeah.
this one, but he also did that one, and it was before I knew the title of the film. So that's why I just said Spike and Mike Festival Animation. So when Marv shows up, what are we going to say, guys?
Yeah, let's wait for Marv. Let's wait for Marv before we
Oh,
start.
he's there.
He's there.
Oh, there he
No,
is.
you mean yeah?
You were there the whole time. Awesome.
This is the
Just
guy
showing
we
it.
need. There's Spike.
Yeah,
Come on,
Spike. He's going to be joining us soon. Spike will be joining us very soon. We're excited
I was just
to have
saying,
him.
the artist you have on the shirt is Everett Peck, and he's an amazing artist. He did at least 6 of the flyer covers.
I used to save the flyers. I would see Spike.
Yeah.
Well, I would see Spike at San Diego Comic-Con always. Of course, Spike and Mike has a booth at San Diego Comic-Con. I would also see him at Sundance, where he always had on a weird hat.
Yeah.
He's easy to spot because he's tall and he's always wearing a crazy hat. Spike always had like this look, right? I mean, what are you supposed to do? Not take a flyer or a postcard from him? You got to. Okay, are we ready? Are we ready to start the movie? Is everybody?
Wait 1 second. When you hear the tuba in the beginning, that is David Silverman playing the
that's
tuba.
One of these tubas.
That's
I believe
great.
It's this tuba. In fact, was this one?
Yeah, so he
Okay.
brought it to the interview, you, and then he played it, and I said, "Oh, that sounds like something we can use." So we ended up using it in the opening credits.
Oh, that's
I
great.
just wrote a little march to sort of like, it felt like a good Spike and Mike march somehow.
Mhm.
Are we all ready? Has everybody got their devices? We're gonna press play.
I'm just gonna listen with you guys.
Okay. Well, we're not gonna play the audio too loud. We want to be able to talk. But here we go. I'm gonna ready. 3, 2, 1. Can you hear it? Okay, so now we're all watching it, folks.
Is that
Comment as
the
we
animation
go.
for this documentary, or
I'm not watching. What do I hit?
let's see, we're at the opening animation.
Oh, those are flyers. So all that animation is from flyers.
And there it is. There's David Silverman's name.
What do you know about that?
How do I start this thing?
Marv, you would have had it queued up already. Do you have it already on their thing?
I'm going to download it now.
Catherine Park says, yeah.
Yeah, is that someone that you know? Marilyn?
Aunt Marilyn.
My niece.
She's watching. Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
Well, Marilyn's jacket is Mike's jacket.
Ah. Okay, so tell me about putting together, what went into the choices of the clips that you chose to represent, to represent the festival?
For most of them, the person I'm interviewing, it is their film. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Oh, Andrew Stanton.
Oh, except for that one. Devil Went Down to Georgia is Mike Johnson. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
How did you get Andrew Stanton to be in the film?
Oh, except for that one. Devil Went Down to Georgia is Mike Johnson. So, yeah.
How did you get Andrew Stanton to? Someone's got.
Except for that one. Devil Went Down to Georgia is Mike Johnson. Somebody.
We're getting audio feedback from somebody.
I'm gonna blame Marv.
Oh no, he's watching the live stream, so we're hearing the live stream like 10 seconds after we say stuff.
I'm gonna blame Marv.
Okay, I muted Marv.
Okay, a little shout out to Mike there.
And I think we have a
guest.
guest.
Man, I appreciate it.
I think we have a guest in the lobby.
Oh, is that Spike? Let's see. Can you add the guest? I can't add the guest for some reason.
Yeah.
Alan, thanks.
There, oh God,
Hey, there he is.
Look, I got my whole 19 thing going.
Crazy man.
Look at that.
You're protected.
Look at that.
Too safe.
You're not gonna get bacteria.
You can't be too safe. Here, I'll move this way. No, there we go. Can you see me now?
Okay, you got to hold it still though. You're gonna make everyone throw up.
All right.
Yes.
I hate this crap. You know, I'm from a generation. If it said instructions included, you didn't buy it. If it said comes assembled, you bought it. That makes sense.
We just started watching the documentary, Spike, a couple minutes ago. I'm curious about your thoughts about having this whole project come together.
Check out the gloves too. I got the gloves.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Would you ask it again?
Oh, I was just asking, like, what are your thoughts, like, seeing this whole project come together now? What do you think?
I think it's marvelous. I think Kat stepped up and she put her own money into it, and did a lot of passion. And I don't know. It's amazing that somebody actually did it. It's very exciting. I hope she gets some breaks and gets it out there to the mainstream.
Well, that's what. Speaking of that, I mean, that's kind of what the festival did, and that's what this documentary brings a lot of light to, is the fact that this is cool. Weird Al Yankovic is on here. I don't want to forget to ask you about Weird Al, but the festival was responsible for breaking so many amazing films and filmmakers. I mean, it influenced the industry.
I believe so. Yeah,
It definitely did.
I couldn't even see who was on here with this thing. It's fogging up. Oh man!
And there's the infamous Pixar short, Luxo Jr.
Yeah. Ay. Sorry to being late, but none of these cables. I bought these new cables as compatible with Apple, of course, and I paid, and then of course they don't work. So, who else is on here? I can't even.
Can you see?
Hello?
Here, I'll take it. Well, you're on here. Kat's here. We have Alan, Marv Newland, David Silverman, Marilyn Zornato, all here on the stream.
All right. So, would you repeat? Now I got all that stuff off. I'll take my surgical gloves off.
We just started watching the movie a few minutes ago, and we're just at the early beginning stages. There's sort of the beginning kind of gives you a taste of what you're about to see, and some of the films. I mean, Kat, you must have seen the movie hundreds of times because you made it. So maybe, Kat, you must have seen the movie hundreds of times because you made it. So Kat, you must have.
What is?
Sorry, Marv's actually watching the live stream while we're watching the audio. We're getting some audio feedback. That's okay though. But Kat, tell us Marv went away. He'll be back. Tell us a little bit about pulling together all these clips and then how you got everyone to be interviewed for the film. In particular, you've got some really big names. I mean, Andrew Stanton, Weird Al Yankovic, just some really incredible big names that stepped up to be a part of the documentary.
I will do a little. This book helped me a lot. It's the opposite title. Jerry Beck worked on this, but in the back it has all the flyers. So I just went through and I went through all the flyers and went through all the films. It lists every film for every year. So I was able to go through and I picked the ones I wanted to see again. And also Spike helped me a little bit with who might be good to talk to. Obviously Marilyn was an obvious choice to someone we wanted to talk to, but just going through and picking films that I liked and I wanted to see is kind of also how it worked for me.
That's great. What did you have any trouble just with any clip clearance or anything with this at all? I mean, you're mostly just dealing directly with the animators.
I am. Well, some of them have their films have gone on to be part of a. Right. Well, actually, all the Andrew Stanton and Pete Docter's films are all Disney now, so I had to go through Disney to get those clips. And actually, Disney was great. I paid a fee, but not too crazy. I think one of the hardest things was getting footage of Mike. I would love to have had him on stage, and the little bit of footage I did get was at Cal Arts, and that was a little bit hard to get out of Cal Arts. It was a VHS tape, and it was all it was hard to see because it was so worn down. So it was that was tricky. But yeah, just a lot of. Oh, there's Marv again.
Hey, Marv, you're back. Good to see you. Yep. We're interesting. That's one of the things I really love about the doc is just being familiar with a lot of the animators and the films and whatnot, is seeing how you were able to get old photographs, I mean, there's definitely, you pulled together an archive to be able to, get everyone featured. Those are my favorite parts when you've got these really, boyish looking Spike and boyish looking, Andrew Stanton, and just everybody was a kid. And then some of the footage also, you've got Oscar footage right now. Mm-hmm. Did you have to go to the Academy to get that?
I did. And I think they might be used to getting asked for it, but very expensive if you go over a certain amount. I think it was something like 15 seconds or 20 seconds is what I paid for. So
oh my God.
That included Allison Snowden and David Fine, and also Joan Gratz Academy footage.
Gotcha.
But Marilyn, you were awesome in giving me some of your personal photographs. So I thank you for that.
We have a question from Stevie York on our chat. Anyone that's watching this on the stream, if you want to post a question, please do. We'll get to as many questions as we can. But Stevie York says, remember the year Weird Al was the special guest and he had lost his voice?
Spike might remember that.
Yeah, Spike, do you remember that?
I have to say I don't. Sorry. I wanted to say hi Marilyn, hi David, hi Marv.
How you doing? Good to see you, Spikey.
Marv's
getting a lot of love.
Says Zombie Dog.
I hope you guys liked all my COVID outfit, though.
No, that was great. You prepared. We were obviously not ready for that. Oh wait, okay. There's the audience watching.
From you guys off of here.
Oh, Marv.
We're at the point where the audience is watching Bambi Meets Godzilla, and you see that reaction. I just remember being a huge Godzilla fan and saying, "Well, I've seen every Godzilla movie. I have to see this one." I didn't expect it to be like this. Marv, if you could let us know, like, what was the thinking behind Bambi Meets Godzilla, and how did the movie blow up and just become so notorious?
There was absolutely no thinking behind the movie. I try to avoid thinking anytime I'm making a movie. And I thought after all these years of not thinking while making movies that I'd be able to go into politics, but it hasn't worked.
I knew it was coming.
Whoa.
You could politics could use a big Godzilla foot to stomp on it at this point. But what I'm amazed about Bambi Meets Godzilla is I saw it in a movie theater in the 70s. Okay. And here we're still talking about this film. It's had such an impact that because it's just like one of those like great crowd pleasers in a way. I mean, you mentioned earlier that if the film came out now, it would be viral for a week and then people would forget it. But in a way it was viral. It was like a viral video before viral videos were a thing. It really was that because it was short, sweet. People would talk about it and tell other people. And it played in movie theaters. I mean, in a movie theater in Detroit is where I saw it. So how did prints of that go out, and what were theater owners like thinking at the time? Well, I'm asking you. Okay, you're laughing.
I wouldn't know what to say either. I agree.
Chris, the fact that we lived in the film world in those days is the key to everything. Right. It's a simple-minded, stupid movie, and it's over in 90 seconds. Why the audience hangs on, I don't know. They laugh longer after it's over than the movie runs.
Which is part of the genius of it. It's one of the things about it, Marv. It's a short. And, because there's an expectation that a short's going to be, at least 4 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. And it's done in 90 seconds. So the audience is laughing first at the sight gag, and they're laughing that, that's it.
Yeah. It's like sex. It's like 15 seconds build up and 2 seconds of pleasure. So everybody can understand that. Maybe
it connects on a very lizard brain level. Yes.
Yeah, it's simple. It's like an apple. I don't know. It's just
Patrick. Yay, Patrick! Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what we played with King of Hearts when it toured in the Landmark theaters, and then it was with and so everybody saw it. I mean, everybody went out to see King of Hearts, and then they were surprised by these 2 great shorts.
Yep. Thank you, Masked Man and Bambi. And then it went all over the place. It was in theaters, playing before feature films in the States and Canada, everywhere. It never went on the festival circuit. I didn't even know what animation festivals were. Paul Dreesen kicked my ass in around 1980 and said, you have to enter your movies in festivals. I said, what's a festival? So, yeah, I don't know. The movie's over 50 years old. What do you do? It's stupid.
Yeah.
I was saying, it's a question on the New York Times crossword puzzle yesterday. So it just keeps going. I have a whole binders full of references and news items and all kinds of crapola based on this stupid movie. It makes me laugh. What's the point? Just watch it and then go home and have a sandwich.
Well, I think you could actually make a documentary about Bambi Meets Godzilla and the fandom surrounding it, and go through that binder and and tell stories. You could.
So somebody's asking about DVD extras, and yeah, there is. And actually, I was really, really upset that I didn't get Bill Plimpton on the documentary. I interviewed him at San Diego Comic-Con, but the sound was so bad, it was just, we couldn't salvage anything. But I do, a little piece of Bill Plimpton is on the extra, so there is some extras.
Oh, that's great.
Bill's great. Bill, he likes Bambi because it was made for so little money and made like 100 times more than it cost, something like that. Which is 100 times more than it cost is about $1,500.
Kat, can you hold up a copy of that DVD?
Oh.
It's on Blu-ray.
Sorry, I'm reversed.
There you go.
And that, yeah.
Wow.
Actually, it's on
And
Green
then-
Ray. It's very different.
Green Ray, and then there's some extras right there.
Wow. Someone asked a question here. John Evershed has a question. Bambi Meets Godzilla is like an abstract painting of a blue square from the 20s that's worth $5 million. Why is it worth so much? Because it was the first. It also symbolizes the end of Disney's domination. Bambi. Wow, that's actually a very insightful comment, John Evershed.
Thanks, John.
Thank you for posting that. That's fantastic.
John,
So-
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Yeah, so we just want to remind people we are in the midst of watching the film right now. We're about 15, 16 minutes. We're 16 minutes or so into the film. This was
I caught up.
this was definitely a labor of love for you. It's a love letter to the festival. It's a love letter to Spike. It's a love letter to the community, from the community.
Mhm.
What have been the reactions of people that have seen the documentary?
Very nostalgic for some people. They're getting to see those 65 clips that I was able to squeeze in there. And if they ever want reference to all the clips that are in there, please go to animationoutlaws.com, and I list every clip so you'll know who did it in the order it appears in the doc, which is important to me because that's what you talk about, the love of animation. And I wish I could have fit more of all the shorts in there. But yeah, just want to make sure Spike and Mike's legacy got out there for people to know where they came from.
And the film also, it feels like 5 years ago now, but the film actually played at the recent Slamdance Film Festival, which was one of the last film festivals that had humans in attendance together. And it feels like, it was just late January, and that feels like 3 years ago. It's crazy, but what was the reaction there in Park City, Utah? Spike, you're also someone who I would see it in Park City at Sundance, passing out flyers and whatnot. So I knew you already would have like a great crowd there. But what was the reaction from the audience in Park City?
If people don't know, Sundance and Slamdance are at the same time, so it's a little hard to know where to go. There's a lot of films to see.
Mm-hmm.
And then unfortunately, it was right when we lost Kobe Bryant. So I think there was a little bit of a bad, kind of a harsh mood over the festival at that moment. But the people that did show up, we had people shouting out the lines in the film. The Marv thing got, again, people in the audience doing that. And just a very receptive crowd. It was good.
That's great. Spike, what's your experience? You've been to Sundance many times.
Yeah, I always say this more and more. It's just people can say I'm complaining sour grapes or whatever the hell. I don't even care anymore. But it's like, it's a great documentary. She put a lot into it. Had very, very professional people in it. Carl Miller, the cameraman, the research people, bar none. And you know, Mike and I have done shows, sold out shows, you name it. I've gone to the city and sold it out. Mike and I have gone there without Mike and sold them out. Big cities, little cities, big auditoriums, lines around city blocks. And I do it time and time again, but we still never get that door open to us that gets it out there. Again, I'll go back to the initial comment of the mainstream. You know, if me selling out the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco for 3.5 months isn't good enough, if the product isn't good enough for that, or a Contemporary Art Museum in La Jolla for 4.5 months, and she has the best production people she can let her hands on in the world, what's it take? So I, you know, again, sorry to sound bitter or whatever the hell, but I mean, you just, after so many years, you get tired of getting in the ring, knocking another guy out and going, oh, this other guy's going to get the payday and get some recognition because he almost knocked the guy out. Sorry about the honesty, but at this point in my life, I'm honest.
Hey, Spike, never apologize. What you've done and your legacy is, you know, oh my God. And we're seeing you with one of your, right now, as I look on the screen, you have like a giraffe hat on. That segment from the film is great, but you should never apologize. What you've done for the industry, I mean, this movie captures all of that. It's a tribute. It really shows the legacy and you know, you were such a pioneer. Here you are on screen with another crazy hat passing out flyers. And also I tried to quietly open a drink as you were talking, which brought back memories of me going to see the festival at a theater. You'd have to look around quietly, just make sure no one was looking, and, you know, like open a drink. That was what it was like to be there.
Yeah, there's been some locations like the Crest in Sacramento when we used to play there. It's a big house. I don't know, maybe 8 to 1,000 people, and we'd sell them out. It's a crazy crowd by midnight because they had a full bar in there and they'd allow them to smoke in there. So by midnight, they're rolling in there and they're blasted and they get more blasted. And there's nights there, or in Riverside where I grew up, they pretty unhinged crowd. And then the films just work them into a frenzy. And then Mike was good at that. And then at first I was really anxious about going on stage. Now I actually enjoy it. I'll go on stage anywhere, anytime. But a lot of guys that work for us, Frank, Yar, Scott, Holmes, all these people that worked for us for many, many years, especially Frank, could go on stage and they could work the audience really well. Keith Jensen, who's a comedian in Sacramento, they learned a lot from Mike. And I had Scotty the Shredding Wonder Dog, who was my answer to Mike on stage. So vicariously through Scotty was my representation on stage. And I remember one night at the Palace of Fine Arts, full houses, and Mike went up there and I did 50 balloons and the audience is going nuts. And Scotty does the last one and they're cheering. And then I had this sex doll and it's a full theatrical stage there. So I pulled it out from the side wing, work up the audience so they can see what's coming on. I set it up, throw it out there. Scotty runs out, grabs it, and I'm going, oh, he'll do this. And he grabs it right on the buttocks region and flails it, and the arms and legs are flailing. It deflates, and I'm going, now if he'll just drag it off stage. And sure enough, he's looking over, I'm going, come on, please, please, please. So he drags it off stage, and the audience just went ballistic, standing ovation. And it was the one night I stood up Mike from my stage presentation. Fun stuff like that.
We got to say hi to Paul Rackman, who's one of the organizers involved in Slam Dance, a filmmaker himself. Aww. Hey, Paul. Paul, just also a great supporter of Film Threat. We love Paul, and his documentary. He made a music documentary. I know I'm spacing on the name. Paul, remind me of it. I'll throw your comment up on screen. He made this amazing music documentary years ago, and I know he's cooking up something new right now. So thanks, Paul, for watching. Sean House wants to say hi to everybody.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean. Good to talk to you.
Over there.
So please post your comments and your questions. Everyone here will do their best to answer
Like
questions.
how
I'm gonna run and get a refill on a drink. So, Alan, you take over.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I'm back in 30 seconds.
I'm a little jealous because my city must be really boring because it was never a party like that in my screenings.
Yeah, you had some shows, Spike, where not your entourage didn't go. I don't know how you worked that out.
City were you in?
This would have been Torrance, California.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I also think I went early on, so I think it was just getting some momentum at that point. I mean, when was the first festival?
1977.
Hey, Cat.
Yeah, I remember.
Hey, Cat.
Trying to
What?
grab
Cat.
the bottle, David.
What's that? Oh, yes,
Cat,
yes.
You're right. You're right above me.
Cat, can you hear?
Yes. I
Here,
can.
let
Yes,
me get
Spike.
you.
What, Spike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, maybe.
That's interesting. My
Yes,
first
she can hear
year.
you.
I was just saying, I'm glad I made
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for showing up.
it up.
No, my first year at UCLA was 1977, so it corresponded with the first Spike and Mike festival. So I guess I caught it at the beginning.
You did.
David, are you drinking an old fashioned, sir?
No, I'm just drinking straight Kentucky Owl bourbon.
Oh wow. Okay.
At least where I'm watching now, I suddenly appeared on screen. I don't know if I'm at the right point in the movie.
Yeah, we are
But,
at the. I can't even see that.
But you were you at the New Art Theater, right, Spike, when you came to LA?
In LA, we did. We didn't do the New Art.
No.
Terry Thorne was doing the tourney there.
Oh, that's
We
right. Yeah,
played
yeah.
it,
So where were you at then?
we went
can't
into. Yeah, there was some theaters we couldn't get into because people tried to. I won't name any names, but people tried to block us out. And even when they did, it never stopped us. Like water around rock. But so we'd go to Sexton Auditorium. Go. You know what? You got 500 seats. Sexton has 2,000 seats. We'll just go and sell that out. And we did. Or we go to Lemley Sunset there on the corner. Or
That's what it is.
Santa
Yeah, the
Monica
Sunset. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
one of those
Yeah.
places. And that's what we did. But yeah, mostly Lemley Sunset in LA, Hollywood.
That's what it was. Yeah.
We'd run.
You
that
know,
all
a
the
lot of
time.
whiskey under the bridge. You know.
Yeah, Friday and Saturday night at midnight, always at Lemley Sunset. And the marquee there on the corner, so much traffic, it'd sell itself out every weekend. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping movie theaters open before the end of the year. I know that like the hope of that seems to just like wither away daily, unfortunately. But drive-ins are alive and well. Having been to the drive-in several times over the summer, there's only like 350 drive-in movie theater screens, and what I'm noticing is they're doing retrospective screenings, older classic films, along with a lot of independent films. So this is something. I mean, you could do a Spike and Mike at a drive-in; it would be huge.
Right.
There's the drive-in that's actually close to you, Spike. If I don't know if you're still in Riverside, the Vineland, the Pacific Vineland Theater, and there's also the Mission Tiki. Those are the two that are that are on the east side.
Claremont.
What's that?
Right.
Yeah, the
No,
Mission
I'm in,
in Claremont.
Oh,
I'm down in San Diego. I served my time in, what's the jacket say? I served my time in hell in some careers, Vietnam or something. Mine is I served my time in hell, Riverside.
Oh,
I'm in
no.
San Diego.
There is one in San Diego though. A
Yeah.
drive-in there.
There's one in Santa Cruz. We always used to drive by it when we were doing the shows in Santa Cruz. I go, man, if we could do a Sick and Twisted midnight show there, it'd be a total freak show because not people could do anything in their car, and they would. Especially in Santa Cruz.
Oh, I recently went to the Pacific Vineland for a screening of movie called Relic, and there was a condom in the parking space directly next to me. Could not believe it. I'm like, oh my God, drive-ins are still, this is where this still happens. This is crazy. But I
Dignity, always dignity.
Yeah. But Spike, I saw someone, I thought of you. I saw someone wearing
that's a 5-finger condom.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
Hey,
what?
Zeus.
I take it.
We're
Who's there? It's
gonna-
a
we're
prop.
gonna-
I'm good with props.
but I thought of you.
Ladies, sue me.
I thought of you. I saw someone in a T-shirt that said "Genocide, Riverside, Genocide, Suicide, Riverside" was the T-shirt. Now this no, is it? That's what it was. Yeah, it was someone from Riverside had the shirt. It's like, I like this shirt. Tell us, Kat. Tell us about this animation that you.
I'm gonna get one of those.
You got it. Genocide, Suicide,
I
Riverside.
was just gonna say real quick.
This?
I'm getting one for sure. No, it was like it was a harsh place to grow up. A very, very hard place. But I grew up in all these places, so that's another reason culturally I always connected and see countercultural things well. I grew up in the plains of Kansas with the snow, and then the jungles of the Philippines, then the desert Morocco, and then back to Riverside, and so yeah, I've been a lot of
Wait, what am I
places like
saying?
that. But yeah, Riverside.
Look down there.
Especially at the Mellow Manor we had there in Riverside, the old Victorian animal house kind of thing. There was some crazy parties and just some truly insane people and a lot of stuff.
And
There.
yeah,
saw
when
the
we
Warriors,
sorry.
Oh no.
I was gonna say, when we can start up again, we're definitely showing it at the Fox in Riverside for sure, with bonus films ahead of time that Spike's gonna supply, like maybe Home Honey I'm High or Key Lime Pie or something. We'll show films beforehand.
Now, Marilyn is on screen right now wearing the same jacket that she's wearing as she's on the live stream. Oh, this is great, Marilyn.
Satisfied with that. They know it was me.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Oh, and here's one of Mike's ties. He used to do the tie contest. Yeah.
Bad tie contest.
the
You
bad
have
tie
that
contest.
have
in
a bad
Riverside.
tie contest.
This is not a bad one though. I like it.
It's a beautiful one.
Yeah, Mike was great at doing those, just entertaining the crowd and getting them all fired up and doing contests and magic tricks or whatever he wanted to do.
Like Riverside always had the bad tie contest because that's sort of a hometown.
Yeah,
The
he
homecoming.
started the bad tie contest at Riverside, Linus Auditorium at Riverside City College, and
Yeah.
people would get the ties together all year long. It was the highlights of the event in Riverside, and yeah,
Yeah,
Ah, look at that pin.
I love that pin.
was that one of those little model things or something?
It's a pin.
What the
You
hell?
stick it on your shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
These are for purchase, but that he's wearing the same jacket.
see, jacket.
Oh, I need to get that. Yeah.
Oh, that's
You
cool.
you might get one in the mail just because you're in the film.
Oh, really? Well, that's kind of nice. See
Yeah.
the perks? These are the perks for ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Hey Marv, how can we trigger you to do some more political comments?
We were
Bob-
talking about references to Riverside, and the best reference to a town that I ever saw was driving through Oregon, and Marilyn will know all about this. There was a bumper sticker said, "Keep Salem lame."
Hey, is this true? Riverside, there's a comment from Keep It Sick. Riverside is planning a
Yeah.
Spike and Mike's Day 2021. Is this true?
I think that's
True.
surprise, isn't it?
What's that?
It was supposed to be the same day, May 22nd, when we were scheduled to play there, May 22nd, and we couldn't. So they're going to do it May 22nd, 2021.
Oh, no. That's great.
John Evershed has a question.
Hey,
Did Spike, did any
Kat,
of your
the-
screenings help qualify a short for an Oscar?
It qualified mine,
It did?
There's one.
That's
Let's
amazing.
ask
but I
Marv
got
about that.
qualified.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So we screened for 5 days, in Los Angeles.
Did any of the films that we showed?
You get qualified. I think a lot of people got qualified through the show.
Yes.
I think the technology failed me.
I got disqualified.
Yeah.
Someone named Hey Riverside says it's true. So that's fantastic. You have to let us know when that happens. I will go to Riverside for that.
Yay!
That's a city endorsement there. Yeah.
Me
I'll
too.
go too. Riverside.
All right.
Is the archive still there, Kat?
that-
Mike and Spike.
Yeah.
The
So
last show we did there, the mayor showed up in Riverside. The mayor showed up, and the Hey Riverside guys are trying to make a Spike and Mike Day in Riverside because we started there and all the antics we did there, and it's pretty cool. It's actually a very interesting town. It has the Mission Inn. If you've never been to the lovely Mission Inn in Riverside,
I forgot what I was going to say. Marilyn, I forgot what I was going to say. You asked something, Marilyn.
Oh, about the Mike and Spike archive at the university.
Oh yeah. So UCR accepted a donation from Spike of the 35 millimeter, maybe 16 too, but mostly 35 millimeter films, and also the Academy of Motion Pictures and Arts. He donated all those films.
Yeah. Or cleaned out his garage.
This might be the dumbest question that anyone will ask tonight. So let it be me that asks. But the name is Spike and Mike. Where was there ever consideration that it be Mike and Spike?
It was Mike and Spike. And
It was?
Yeah.
Spike and Mike, Mike and Spike.
Yeah, it was Mike, and they changed it after a big argument. I think they argued for 3 days, and
I don't know why Spike and Mike just sounds
I
better.
couldn't hear it.
He said, "I'd rather golf than argue."
Oh, Spike and Mike. Why is it? If somebody can hear me, can somebody repeat the question?
Oh yeah. It's Spike and Mike, but what made the change from Mike and Spike to Spike and Mike?
Well, there's two things. We'd go to like the newspaper. Like I remember going to the Chronicle in San Francisco, and I'd get it. Mike would get in there first, and the guy go, "Here's your ad," and it says Mike and Spike, and I go, "Damn, he beat me." And then I'd come into a city and I'd get him in there, and Mike. So we do that. Plus, Sick and Twisted, and Mike and apparently I'm not sure, but I've heard rumors that there's the letters S and M represent something else.
I'll have to look that one up.
I don't know, but I've heard rumors.
What does Google say when you put that in?
Oh my gosh. You would not believe what that stands for.
Look it up for us.
Shocking.
Sean House, I'd be happy to come show it at the C Theater. Yeah, I'll bring it up to you guys.
Where's the C Theater?
Up in San Rafael.
Oh, that's great. And Sean asks me, did David Morris ever get you to see a screening at the C Theater? I don't know. I know I was invited once up to ILM to judge a employee film festival, which was really fun. And I wonder if that's how I met David. I don't know. Gosh, I've known David. This is a guy named David Morris. But yeah, I don't know. Okay. The original THX Theater. Oh, wow. That's cool. Yeah. I don't think I've been there, but that's awesome. Thank you, Sean, for that question. That's cool that you know David Morris. Really good guy. Really good guy.
Where are we at in the film? Tell me, because I'm not looking at it.
We are interviewing Danny Antonucci about Lupo the Butcher. I almost said Lupo the Butcher. I don't know why I said that.
The Boucher.
Yeah,
Which was produced under Marv Newland's Rocket Ship. Am I correct, Marv?
Right.
Yes. Yes, you're correct.
Tell us about that, because Lupo was also another like crowd favorite. You knew when that was shown in front of people, they were going to be grossed out,
crazy.
Freaked out, crazy reaction. Marv, what can you tell us about Lupo?
Well, I'd say Lupo is really what kicked off Sick and Twisted. Spike may not agree, but that the Lupo the Butcher was beautifully animated. It wasn't crudely animated like most of the stuff in the Sick and Twisted. And it had a great voice. It had great heart to it. So it's not just exploiting this poor butcher. It's Danny going back to his childhood and bringing forward this uncle. And so there's a realistic quality. There's a life in this butcher. And for me, animation is creating life out of nothing. And Danny did that to perfection with Lupo. And that's a good movie. That's like 3 minutes long, and it leaves a big impression. And I'll tell one funny story. The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation licensed the movie to show on TV in Canada. Danny's from Canada. I live in Canada. I've lived here most of my life. The character Lupo is based on an uncle that grew up in Toronto, even though he hardly spoke English. And so everything was great, and we were going to have Lupo on TV. And then they canceled it. They were afraid, and so on and so forth. So I immediately sent a message down to, I think it was MTV or somebody in New York, and said, "Do you want to show this movie?" They said, "Yes." Okay, make a contract, blah, 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 blah. So they showed it, and there was a feed of music videos going up to music TV in Toronto, or something, MTV, somewhere in Toronto. And during the feed, they saw Lupo the Butcher, and they went ballistic and called me up and said, "How could you do that? You let the Yanks show Lupo." And I said, "Well, you guys turned it down. What should I do?
Right.
The can and throw it in the basement?" Classic. Beautifully.
Just because we turn it down doesn't mean you can show it elsewhere.
No. If you turn it down, then you just seal it away, right? It's been seen everywhere. I mean, it's been seen in countries that don't even speak English. So,
How about the Vatican? Did it play at the Vatican?
On a loop, yes.
Yeah.
I think it's projected on the Sistine Chapel somewhere.
just outside the Vatican.
We're at the segment of the film talking about Happy Tree Friends, which is one of several cartoons that really took off after being in the festival. What can you say about Happy Tree Friends, Kat and Spike?
But I don't know if it's clear, but John Evershed actually was part of Mondo Media, and he was the one we got the Happy Tree Friends clip from him. But Ken Navarro was amazing to interview, and I just what a crowd pleaser all those Happy Tree Friends are. So I know what Spike wants to say, if he can hear us.
John is watching, isn't he? I saw his name come up.
John, definitely. Yeah, John Evershed, Mondo Media guy. Thank you for giving me those clips.
We also passed the Beavis and Butthead segment as well.
Mm.
I remember
Yeah,
that's the first time I'd seen that.
Frog
Hey,
baseball. Yeah.
Hey, Newey.
I'm looking at Franny's Christmas. I don't know if I'm in the
Newey,
right spot
can you
yet.
hear me?
Let's see. We are.
I can hear
we're
you,
at
Spike.
43 minutes.
Where are you at?
43-minute mark.
Yeah, I'm 43.
But
10.
Marv, I want to
Okay.
congratulate you.
Yeah, you may be just 10 seconds ahead.
Damn.
It's fine. And Stevie York has a comment, I think, for
Look at
you,
that
Spike.
t-shirt. There we go.
Yeah.
Spike, listen. ADD or whatever, ADHD, listen.
What's that? It's breaking
Nothing.
up.
So,
I'm sorry. You know.
Stevie York, someone flyered with you called Stevie York right there. I don't know. Just saying, hey, they like you. Flyered at UCSD.
Oh boy,
That's
I'd love
great.
to answer that if I knew what you were saying.
Oh, okay.
It's the technology, you know.
It's okay.
And then
And
John
there's-
It's
Evershed
not there
says Ken was a young student that was inspired by Spike and Mike.
Thanks, John. Yeah.
I think so many people were inspired, just not only by the films, but just the community. Can you talk about that a little bit? Just about like the whole community that Spike and Mike fostered.
Well, I think
I wanted
Marilyn
to
would have.
congratulate Marv for having the insight.
You know,
I
animators
wanted
love
to
going to the
congratulate
shows.
Marv for
It
having
really
the
was fun.
insight years and years ago to flee the country like the rest of us will probably have to do soon.
Okay.
You made an excellent choice, Marv. Excellent. Particularly these days.
I was just saying, Marilyn was part of that whole, like, even being close to Mike and Spike, but Mike when they were choosing some of these films and all that inspiration. So I don't know if you want to say something, Marilyn.
Yeah, I mean, so many people. I mean, people made films just so they could get into the show. They wanted to go to the parties and be flown down and be on stage. It was kind of like a glamorous life that animators don't like to imagine they would have, but most of their life is not so glamorous. It's kind of quiet and they're introverts, and then they get to go to this really goofy thing where people are doing drive-by shootings with squirt guns,
Water guns, yeah.
water guns, and throwing things at restaurants, and so it was like it was a whole get together for everybody, like someplace that was really fun and kind of crazy and a little bit lawless, and run by a couple of crazy guys. So it was big for the community.
What was the submission process like to get into the festival?
They just found you and then asked you if you wanted to be in.
Really, there was no formal.
No, there's no submission. They would call up. And Spike still calls. Goes, seen anything good? Granada. Seen anything good?
I'd love to answer this. I can't, everything gets frozen. It keeps freezing and breaking up,
Oh, it's actually it's
Sorry,
going out into the feed. Okay, Spike, if you can hear us. But what was the submission process and in terms of getting into the festival? We can hear you fine, Spike. You look great.
They don't screen it to the audience.
That's
they
good.
get a copy
Good
and they ask permission.
How did we select the films?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very carefully. No. After a while, I mean, I have to give. We got to where we do so many shows in so many cities. You get to know that city and the demographic of that city and the culture of that city. So you get to know how to curate and what films really flow with that particular audience. And we became, and I'm still I have to say, I'll take credit all day long for that. I'm very skilled at that. Whether we go to Annecy or wherever the hell it is, Comic-Con, we leave them fulfilled and getting more than their money's worth. And I've always taken proud of that. And, in a society that always tries ways to cheat you out of something, or you buy some candy bar, it used to be this big and it's the same wrapper, but they deceive you. We never went out to deceive people and gave people more. We'd bring in the guests, we'd bring in world-class animators, we'd hand out bar fags, Scotty the Shredding Wonder Dog, guys like my employees acting on stage, Mike's antics on stage, anything extra we could do, to make it that much more fun and that much more an event. Sometimes we had music on stage, we'd have contests, and just always giving. We appreciated, and me especially, I appreciated the crowds and the opportunity to do this, and we worked really, really hard. But when we first started, we had to sell out a show because we didn't have any damn money. So if we didn't sell out Landis, we couldn't do another show. So that's why we'd work day and night, and a lot of people don't know that, but it's just so I really appreciated that, and it's just, it was an opportunity, I kind of earlier before that, so that's kind of, I don't know, but as far as the choice itself, the film's always humor was number one criteria, and then the first at Sick and Twisted was more just a shock value thing, and it's evolved now to where there's some really, really brilliant films in there, really nicely animated. Then just some wonderful in the original show, the artistic merit. Like I was talking to Kat last night about Erica Russell's stencil film, Feet of Song, which is a beautiful film. Films of Bruno Bozzetto, who's an absolute master, like Allegra non Troppo and things like that. They're just masterpieces. And getting to know people like Paul de Driesen and Lance Sea and Air, and so many just incredibly people that brought art to life.
We're just that's awesome. Seth Green was just on the screen, and I'm really curious, Kat, how you convinced him to let you use that photo of him where he has that flock of seagulls hair, and then you kind of animated it. Seth obviously has had an amazing career with Robot Chicken. It doesn't surprise me, that he's a Spike and Mike fan. I mean, that makes total sense. What was he like when you talked to him to get him in the film?
Yeah, we ran into him at Skywalker Ranch, and we were watching that remake of The Room, and he saw Spike from a distance, and he came running up to Spike and like threw his arms around him and hello Spike, I haven't seen you since Comic-Con, and then they chatted for a little bit, and then Spike said, hey, do you want to be in my documentary? And Seth's like, oh yeah, definitely, you inspired me. So he was like, it was easy. And then I just went to his little studio in Burbank there, and yeah, he definitely wanted to be part of it. He wanted to share his story.
I like what Mark B. Wilson said regarding getting in the festival. I just mailed in a video cassette to a P.O. box listed on the website. Pickles Day Out, probably in the 2002 show. Oh my God.
Wow. Spike, do you even still have a P.O. box? You better check. I don't even know if Spike still does. I'll check that for him.
And then Keep It Sick asks Spike.
I was going to say about the sorry to interrupt.
No,
people are finished talking. So
no,
I have
everyone
to
do.
speak when I speak because everything I hear is broken up. I don't know when anybody starts or stops. But I wanted to say, people really love the tuba, and you made up that at the shoot that day in L.A. You made up the little song, the jingle. The
jingle.
Yeah,
I just got inspired.
And then Marv, for your the interview on the paddle boat at Annecy. It's just random. It's funny as hell.
David, I had the pleasure of sitting next to David at a fancy restaurant in Annecy, a French restaurant, and he played the tuba, and it was fantastic. It was so low key, and everyone's turning slowly around in a sophisticated manner to see what the hell's going on. That was a great moment, David. I'll never forget it. Thanks.
It's what you do in a fancy French restaurant at Annecy.
Of course, someone walks in the tuba, sits down.
Do you travel with your tuba?
Actually, that time at Annecy, they rented a tuba for me. Serge Bromfeld, is that his name? Yeah, he was running Annecy at the time, and he had me do a few things. Actually, I ended up playing the tuba for Gertie the dinosaur, as he sort of performed as
Windsor McKay.
Yes.
Performing with it. Originally, he was going to play piano for John Canemaker, but John Canemaker didn't want to do it, so he had to do the performance part. And so I made up a Gertie dinosaur stomp music. It was fun. It was a fun time.
I'm curious. This is just a question for everyone to address. How maybe you've seen. I mean, Sick and Twisted was such a favorite of mine. It was one of those things when you knew it was coming up, you put it in your calendar, right? It's like, I'm going to that. I have to see it. I have to drive. If it's far away, I just have to, whatever it takes to go see that show. But how have you seen humor evolve? In the last from when everything began to today. I feel like humor has definitely evolved, and I don't even know where we're at with humor, if certain things can still be considered funny. Because I look at some of the, watching the documentary just reminded me of oh my God, these shorts are so great. And I'm just reminded of so many, not just ones that were gross and weird and funny, but even really profound, films like Closed Mondays, which I saw God, it might have been the late 70s when it, I'm trying to remember, late 70s or whenever that came out. Anyways, I'm just curious about your thoughts just in general on humor and comedy and how you've seen it evolve over the years as the festival has evolved. And this is just a question for everyone here. I don't know if you heard that. I just want to hear your thoughts on how humor has changed and evolved.
Someone else take that one.
Yeah.
David.
Or someone play the sound of crickets right now, because
I would say that it sort of started. I mean, what I would say is that this level of sort of like animation is not a kid's medium, which it sort of became. It evolved into that in America, I would say, starting in the sort of late 50s, early 60s, when animation sort of settled on TV. It was never an adult. It was never a kid's medium. I mean, Bugs Bunny was made for adults, et cetera, and so was cartoons made at Disney. There were definitely an adult audience, and it sort of became watered down. And I would say that Spike and Mike sort of helped get animation back into, it's an adult media, folks. And then we were able to kind of push it on The Simpsons. They're like, yeah, it really is an adult media. Come on, what's wrong with you guys? So I guess in a broad sense, I would say that's what's helped evolve in humor.
Well, just also being, as a kid watching cartoons, I never was a Disney fan. I thought that, Mickey Mouse cartoons were pretty milquetoast. I was a Looney Tunes fan. I was a fan of Bugs Bunny. I felt there were layers to it. There was much more going on. And the older I got, the more I appreciated it. I feel like the Looney Tunes cartoons didn't give a fuck. I don't know if that's the way that the animators would use those words. But that's what I loved about it. I mean, Bugs Bunny to me was my favorite. He was an instigator. And, if anything, Spike built, his empire on being an instigator. So, I don't know. I just think it's interesting to see humor evolve and what people like and how that has changed over the years. So, yeah. Spike, someone has a question. I don't even know what this means, but they're asking you, are you now or have you ever been a member of the Hooded Cobras? Is that like a motorcycle gang or something?
Riverside.
In Riverside is like a Riverside. Maybe it's a tea club. They get together and they drink tea and talk about art. I don't know.
It's like the Purple Hat Society, or
right? Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
That was a fictitious theatrical part of the Sterno and the Flames. The band I was in is a fictional group where we were bodyguards on stage, and as the part of the theatrics of Sterno and the Flames, the band that I was in Riverside. So part of
the answer is yes.
Even long before I met Mike, we were doing that.
And Brian Kilfoyle, who's checked in with us a couple times, is saying, "Oh, they cared more than anything." So there you go. We appreciate all your comments.
Maybe somebody can text me the questions. I can look at them and answer them.
Oh well, I can repeat them for you
when they come up,
Spike. And now there's a guy who's warming up the crowd now at the point that we're at now. And I remember him. I can't believe I'm spacing on his name. Mark. He's just sort of yelling at the crowd and sort of,
Well, it depends. There's a couple. There's we have Slam Dance guy Dan Mervish was doing the Sick, Twisted, that one.
Yes.
But it could have been. It could be Dan. It could have been Frank Yar. It could have been Scott Hairball.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Spike has nicknames for everyone, right? So I'm Irish Twerperwerma or Twerpy. Wow. I think Marilyn, you're just Z. Marilyn Z. Yeah.
Marilyn
I don't know. Marv, you're no Oscar Newland.
No Oscar Newman.
Newland.
New.
And
Oh
I'm
my
working
God.
as hard as I can to maintain that.
Sorry. Hey, but you have run a Fosca. You've got a Fosca before.
Fosca, thanks to Marilyn and Joan Gratz and Libby Simon, and all of them ran that party down there. That was fantastic. Yeah, the Academy for making chocolate Oscars, so they requested the use of Fosca, and they made chocolate Foscas. That was fantastic.
That's right.
Fosca is the main character from a movie I made in 1984 called Anagen.
We've never gotten a cease and desist letter from you, so we're still making.
Oh, sorry, no.
You refuse to send
My
one.
lawyer suggested
the Academy.
Yeah. I was Joan's escort at the Academy Awards, the only time I've ever been there. And they announced the prize for the animated short, the Oscar. And everybody to my right, who were also entered, Oscar nominees, all went into, put their hands on their faces and started crying because it wasn't them. And I looked to my left, and Joan's just sitting there. I didn't even hear that she won. And so I said, Joan, you won. It goes down to the stage. They hand her the Oscar, and she does a U-turn and comes back down off the stage instead of going back for all of her photographs and so on. It was hilarious. Anyway, except for the sadness of all the other animators who believe.
So good.
So we're at the point. Mike Judge is being interviewed about Beavis and Butthead. At the point that we're at in the film, and I'm just curious about Mike Judge. You interviewed him, Kat.
I didn't actually. That is found footage.
That's found footage where he's talking about it.
I could not get a hold of him, or I tried, and I wasn't getting a good response. But I was able to use that. It's called fair use. I was able to use that fair use. But yeah, he uses a flyer in it, and he definitely gives credit at that point for being in a Spike and Mike, one of their festivals. Yeah,
I'm sure he doesn't mind being in. Well, look, I'm watching. There I am for some reason.
Oh, you're ahead. Remember, you're a couple of seconds ahead, I think.
All right. Tell me when I showed up.
It went to that PO box. We'll figure it out, Brian. I don't know what's
Marilyn,
going on.
how's the new skipper key?
Oh, it's good. I'll show you. I'll get him.
It's a new dog she has.
We're actually one of the we're showing a documentary in a couple of weeks called Well Groomed, which is about a competitive dog grooming competition.
Oh, Marilyn will love that.
Oh my God, it's called Well Groomed, and we have the filmmaker, and we're also going to have dogs on our live stream. If you go, just a quick plug, if you go to our Film Threat Facebook page and you look under events, we have watch parties from now until the end of August. And tell us, Marilyn, about this dog that you're.
This is also means bear in Spanish.
What?
He's just skipper key or something. How
I
do you
thought it
pronounce
was a kitten for a second.
He's a dog cat.
He's just
Oh my, yeah.
weeks old.
It's so
Oh
cute.
my God, it's so cute.
Cute.
It's a cute dog cat.
Dog cat.
Oh, Chris, there's your old show.
Like cat. Cute. Cute.
Aw,
Yeah,
bless.
they just showed a clip from Attack of the Show.
Oh, they did. Oh, that's right. Yes, this was a Attack of the Show. I was on that show, but like we would go to Comic-Con and we would do like a live show, and Spike, you were there, so it was always great to run into you in San Diego. It's unfortunate. San Diego next week is doing this thing called Comic-Con at Home, where they're showing panels on YouTube. So
I'm going to teach them to attack
It's
balloons.
broken up.
Yes, train him.
Broken up really bad.
Sorry,
I don't know if
Spike.
we're doing
I think
enough
it's your
drinking.
We can see
San Diego internet.
Yeah, we can see you and hear you perfectly, Spike. Actually, I can see and hear everybody perfectly well. So, so just keep talking and ignore everything.
But
Hey,
we
Kat,
want
if you can
put
hear
on
me,
a different
text me the
hat.
question.
Put on your chef's hat.
Yeah.
Put on a different hat.
Yeah. Do you have your hats? Stick on a hat.
You won't do it.
Put on this hat. Your cowboy hat.
Put on your cowboy hat. Yeah. You won't do it.
Cowboy hat.
Do you have any hats nearby? And then here's Scotty, the shredding wonder dog.
It's,
Whoa.
Scotty.
Scotty. That was Spike's little dog.
Right. I don't.
That is excellent.
Wow.
Another hat. I have another hat.
Alan,
Hey,
where are
Kat,
we
text
at
me
on
a
the film? Do you
question
want
and
to?
I
We are
can
at the
answer it.
end credits.
Oh, we're at the end credits. Great.
Oh, we are, yeah.
Awesome. How do
Marv.
Oh,
hey,
there-
Mike.
Nice, Marv.
Oh my God.
I have one too. Oh well.
That's awesome, Marv.
Everyone's gonna put on a hat in honor of you, Spike.
I don't have a hat. I'm unprepared. I have
me too.
headphones on.
Yeah,
can I
have
say?
nothing here.
Marilyn's gone to get something.
Everybody's
We're
getting
all
a hat.
Wear funny hats because of you.
I should have prepared. I
Where
should
she
have
comes.
prepared better.
What do you got? Oh, she's got one too. We need to see it.
Oh, there you go. Okay, cool. Now, so we're in the end credits. What do we? What? The DVD, from what I understand, has deleted scenes.
Not deleted, just bonus. Sorry.
Bonus,
So that-
right. They're not
Yeah.
deleted per se.
Censored.
But yeah. You've got all the
risque scenes you don't want to see.
yes, all the things that the censors made you cut.
Right. That makes it sound great.
In the shower.
But what is tell us now, like, the film is out. There's gonna be a Spike and Mike day in Riverside in a year. And there will be a screening of this documentary during that event. What are our final thoughts from everyone going around the horn here? Everybody should get a chance to talk. And if Spike can hear us, then he'll actually be able to do that as well. But Marv, maybe we should start with you, and we'll just go around to everybody. Our final thoughts on Spike and Mike, the legacy, and the documentary Animation Outlaws.
Well, Mike was a good friend. Spike was a good friend. They enhanced my life and helped get our movies out into the public, and I'll never be able to repay them for that. And a great team and a great, the first time I met Spike and Mike, they were lying down on the floor in a motel room in Seattle, Washington, surrounded by piles of cash. Okay, these are people I'm going to work with.
That's awesome.
That's the truth. I didn't make it up.
Okay, Marilyn.
My next, I just like to thank Kat for sort of recording this part of our lives, because I had such a great time. I've never had a better time, really. And there's everything about wild, and you just never knew it was going to happen. Got so many people, and it was sort of like this unhinged event that brought everyone together. And I'm really glad that you captured that on film, Kat. I just feel really lucky that you made this beautiful documentary so that other people can kind of get a glimpse of what it was like. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great.
David.
I have to say, I just I never had like my own personal film in Spike and Mike's festival, but I just feel connected regardless, and I'm glad to have the connection. I'm glad I got to meet you, Spike, and dear old Mike, and had a lot of laughs and quite a few drinks and some strange parties and some hanging out and some fun places, and it's seeing it first before I met you guys was really uplifting and inspiring, and then having to get to meet you both was just an added wonderful bonus. So
Cool.
That's all.
Ah, great. Cool.
Spike, can you say something, Spike? I wish he could. Darn.
I got a little bit. I got a little bit of that. What do you want?
What do you take away from
sorry,
the
it's-
documentary?
If I could make it, if it work, it'd work. I'd love it. It'd work. I can't help it. It's not working.
Do,
Well,
do a
Kat, maybe
sign off.
Maybe you can bring it all home for us and tell us your thoughts.
Well, I do wish it could have been a little longer. There's some people in there that I really missed out on. And again, I mentioned Bill Plimpton. I really wanted to get him in there. But and then Tim Burton was one of the people I was pursuing because he did Vincent. But in any case, I do think people can enjoy this even outside the realm of having a film in it. People that were in the audience, or even just the kids these days. My kids never had been to a festival, but when they saw this, or Spike and Mike Festival, it just kind of gave them a little bit of historical reference, and I hope that people walk away with that. So thank you guys for watching.
Wow. Well, I mean, I don't think there's a better way to end the watch party than this, but to also remind people to get Animation Outlaws on all platforms. Wait, Spike, you were going to say something.
Yeah, Marilyn, David, and Marv, Kat, thank you for coming. I'm trying.
Here.
Our pleasure.
I appreciate it.
And we should do I really feel like the best way to end this is a toast to Spike.
Yeah. Oh,
because
hang on.
we would not be here without Spike and bringing this community together. And Spike, we thank you so much for everything that you've done for the world of animation. I'm just a fan sitting here, just in admiration of everything you've accomplished. I'm so proud and honored to be joined by all of you here. Spike, this is for you.
Cheers.
Thank you so much, Spike. Cheers. We'll see you in Riverside in 2021.
Thank you for
Spike and Mike Day.
Thank you for doing this and recognizing what we're about and what we're capable of doing and what we've done and all that and what we still can do. And I wanted to just add that we built up, and even after Mike died, I built up a huge library of content. I've just picked up a couple new films recently that are just really wonderful films. And so we have rights to a lot of films, and we're actually talking to someone right now to possibly partner up with someone, and I'm looking for that sort of thing now, to take things that I have or that I own or our brands, etc., and maybe take the ball and run with it, type of thing. Because there's a part that I do really well and a part that it's not my gig. So I just want to throw that out there if somebody heard that. There we go.
Yeah, there's somebody listening. Bye, guys.
I just want to say thank you to everybody, and Kat, Spike, David, Marilyn, Marv, Alan.
It's over here.
Pleasure to see you all. Great to meet you guys.
It's great to meet everybody. I think if reports are true in the news, we're going to be doing Zoom calls forever.
Oh, stop.
Hopefully not forever. Hopefully we're in Riverside 2021. I am coming to that.
Even when things clear up, let's do a Zoom call. I want a Zoom chat with y'all.
Yeah, and congrats everyone, says Nikhil. Bob McAfee says thank you, Spike and Marv. Thank you to everyone. And I just want to thank everybody for taking part in this, and encourage you to not just see the documentary, but to continue to support animators. It just that's what I really loved about Spike and Mike. It's not just a festival; it's also this incredible community of some. It's helped me discover so many incredible shorts and inspired people. Like Seth Green. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing that happened. So I just want to say thank you to everyone, and we'll see you at the next watch party. Look on the Film Threat Facebook page. I know we have watch parties coming up every week, but I want to thank everybody. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody.
Nice.
Thank you.
All right.
Chris. Thank you, Ellen.
Bye.
Thank you.
No,
That was fun.